Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin, and this is an idle chat for the American Bar Association's Section 4 Dispute Resolution. And today I get to have an idle chat with a colleague, Merril Hirsh. Hi, Merril, how are you?
Fine. Hi, Natalie. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for joining me for an idle chat today.
No problem.
All right. So, Merril, it's an idle chat. This is not in-depth journalism by any stretch of the imagination. Of course, you don't have to answer any of the questions that I ask. You can always take a pass if you like, but we do try to get to know you in a way that doesn't compromise your neutrality in the industry.
That's good.
All right, good. So, Merril, do you by any chance have any special talents, any hidden skills that we need to know about?
Skills. Well, I do play bridge. This is the type of thing that's guaranteed, like to stop conversations at a party, and it's a hobby, and I play it well. One of the cool things about playing bridge, to the extent it's cool at all, is that if you want to play against world champions, you can. It's unlike almost any other hobby. You just pay your money and play. And so I'm not world class, but I'm good enough to play, world class people. And so it's really fun.
Well, that's impressive. I can't do anything at the world class. Well, napping. I'm a really good napper. Maybe that's my world class skill, but bridge, that's pretty cool.
And what kind of conversations do you have at a napping convention? Everyone's asleep.
Very, very quiet.
Very quiet. Okay.
Merril, do you play any musical instruments?
I am talentless. I used to play is a really kind word for what I did on piano, but I went to Oberlin. It was a conservatory of music, and I was the official audience. So somebody has to be.
Yeah, somebody has to give applause where it's necessary.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Merril, what is the best dessert?
Over my time of life, I have jettisoned one dessert after another every 5 years. It's really unfortunate. So there are relatively few desserts I still eat, you know. I mean, so something like berries or something like that. But I, it's really annoying because there are all these things I really used to like as a kid. I used to I eat Twinkies and watch my aunt come in and go, "Woo, sweet." Now I've become my aunt, It's really sad. Um,
Or it's a great thing that you've grown to be that adult.
oh, I don't know. I mean, everybody's still a kid inside, right? You
Yes,
know,
yes, yes. Well, I
yeah,
hope we are, because that's
yeah.
the good stuff.
Let the lack of hair fool you. I'm still a kid, you know.
Right, right. Well, my granddaughter calls these my racing stripes.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. So, Merril, what is the best place you've ever visited?
Probably Italy. Um, and much more for the people than even anything else. I, there's certain, I had all of these experiences where people would just want to be friendly and want to communicate and go out of their way to do it. And it was really just fascinating to be in a place where it really looked like people enjoyed their lives. I mean, if they wanted plumbing done, I'm not sure this is the right place to be for it, but just, to, want to sit down in the sunshine and drink wine and communicate.
Yeah, that is very nice. I like that answer a lot. Merril, are you an ebook kind of guy or hardcover or paperback?
Um, Paperback. I have never gotten into ebooks. I don't have a Kindle. I don't read well on screens. I'm just old enough that sort of thing always seemed unnatural to me. And so I look at things on pieces of paper. Plus, my dad was a printer, so I figure I owe it to him But just seeing a printed word actually evokes, childhood memories of seeing he had like I was in Santa Fe last month, and at the New Mexico history, the palace, that the oldest administrative building in the country is in San Jose. And in there they had an exhibit on printing, and some of this is the 18th century with the screws, before you had electrical stuff. But some of this was sort of the late 19th century stuff. And my dad had presses like that, and the type, those big, California job cases full of type that you sort of see as props and stuff. My dad's shop had all that stuff. So it evokes, those kid memories.
Merril, how many languages do you speak?
I am reasonably fluent in English. I, at one point, knew enough French to get by. I could maintain conversations, but that's long ago, and I could read French. I know I went to Hebrew school 40 bajillion years, and they never taught me the language. They kept teaching me the alphabet every year. So I know the Hebrew alphabet backwards and forwards, which is useful because it's Hebrew. But I have and it's a pretty simple language, and I have a little bit of vocabulary.
You're doing better than most. That's still pretty good. And Merril, what drew you into the ADR industry?
I was a litigator. I still sort of am. So for over 40 years, litigated over 40 states. And what interested me are sort of how you have these variations of dispute resolution, how people do different things in different places, and how you have to adapt to, I live in DC, and, coming from Washington and telling people I'm here to help them doesn't seem to work real well. So you have to sort of adapt to whatever the local, approach is, custom. And, it just, the combination of that and levels of frustration at the waste involved, the inefficiency involved, you amend the rules every 2 or 3 years, and every time you amend the rules, you say we're doing this because litigation is too expensive and takes too long. And after a while, it isn't just a matter of the rules. Amending the rules changes the terms of engagement. What really works is having people involved in managing the situation and using different techniques to do it. So that's what really interested me. Okay, why don't we do something more productive than, you amend the rules to tell, to say, okay, well, we're going to clamp down on this. You can only ask 20 interrogatories, and you develop a cottage industry in law over how to define an interrogatory. Is a subpart a new interrogatory? What if you have commas? What if you use semicolons rather than commas? And there's a whole body of law, and what this does is social utility is really kind of questionable, and so.
Yeah, and it doesn't actually serve your client.
Right. It doesn't serve the clients. It doesn't serve justice. And it's to me, it's it's unfortunate, because this isn't lawyers running up bills because they like to run up bills. This is taking advantage of, like law is the ABA journal had an article maybe 3 or 4 years ago that it's on a study that law is the one profession where pessimism among students is correlated to eventual success. In every other profession, it's optimism. And yeah, you're supposed to worry about your client. You're supposed to care about your client. You're not supposed to wake up in a cold sweat worried that you sent too many interrogatories. You're supposed to wake up worried that there's some rock or stone or pebble or grain of sand you haven't, looked under to find stuff. And that motivation leads people to unfortunately leads people to over litigate. And unless you change the incentives in the system where clients are helped by doing this, and whether that's, I do a lot of different things, but whether that's, mediating the dispute or mediating parts of it and avoiding motions in the first place, or going to arbitration or anything else, you need other tools.
Boy, I couldn't agree more. And Merril, I'll ask you the same question that I ask everyone as my last question, and that is, what do you love most about the work that we do in the resolution industry?
I think it's very human. I think the people who are really good at it spend a lot of time thinking about what people really mean as opposed to necessarily what they say or what emotions, are on the surface. And they really try to understand people. And, it's humbling to do it, and you never entirely understand someone, but the idea that you're trying, I think, is a terrific feeling.
Boy, is it ever. Merril, thank you so much for having an idle chat with me. It's always lovely to chat with you, but in an idle chat, it's particularly lovely. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Natalie. Great to see you.